Hey there everybody, we have an exclusive video just for you guys. We're gonna take a look at LA's newest bike shop, Allez. Not quite open yet, but we're gonna get a behind the scenes tour. It's an interesting partnership between Kyle Kelly from Golden Saddle Cyclery, as well as his partners Sean and Anna, who ran bike shops in New York. So let's go check it out. Here with the co-owners of Allez. We've got Kyle Kelly, which you guys know, and Sean, who you may not know. What's your backstory?
Yeah, so I took over King Cog in 2014 from Gina and her husband, Sean. Met my wife that same year, and then 2016 we opened up Sun and Air. We've been running those two stores since 14 and 16. We had two children, and we sort of decided that we needed a change of scenery, a change of pace, and so we made the move to LA. Kyle and I have been friends for many years now, and I've always used LA as my sort of winter vacation escape from New York.
Yeah, I mean, the craziest part about all this, we're both from Indiana.
Oh, okay.
So that is, that's like a backstory, you know. We have the Hoosier Schwinn jersey there. We actually didn't know each other in Indiana.
But we met in Indiana.
I'd moved, and then North American Handbill Bicycle Show was in Indianapolis one year. I came back to see my family, did the Indy thing. That's when Sean and I first met. And that's how we first connected. And then he ended up in New York just like almost 2 years later?
Yeah, about a year and a half, 2 years later.
And then of course we stayed close because of the Indiana connection. And then it was just so crazy that all of a sudden there's an Indiana boy that has this shop in Los Angeles, and there's this Indiana boy that has this shop in New York, that very much were looked at as kind of these pillars of new bike shops.
We kind of thought we were going to have about a year. We would make the move, and there would be about a year left of GSC to kind of sort things out and take our time and everything. And then that got cut in half, and we kind of were forced to kick it in high gear and really make it happen a lot sooner than we expected.
Were you guys looking at Highland Park, or was it?
We were looking from everywhere from East Hollywood to Highland Park.
Okay.
But when we first sat down a little over a year and a half ago now, we sat down in Highland Park and we were like, this is kind of one of the main areas we want to look at.
There was a spot on Fig that was just glorious, but we couldn't get someone to call us back for over a year. I mean, we tried for over a year.
Yeah, we tried a lot.
And then we looked at like 8 places from East Hollywood all the way to here.
Chinatown.
Nothing really was clicking. And then one day, I had nothing to do with this space. I was at home, and Sean just sends me a text that says, I found our bike shop. And I was like, what? This is crazy. But one of the good things and bad things about all this was this building has not been used in 10 years. So it was a mess. The outside was a mess. The inside was a mess. But the owners, they really liked Sean from the beginning, because he was the first one to meet them, and it just started to happen, and it took a lot longer than we wanted it to take.
Right.
But we were just like, whatever y'all need, just do it. And then they finally got us keys. We're in, and now
it's build time.
Yeah. We're hoping for July 1st.
Yeah.
So we're not hoping. No matter what, we're opening July 1st. But do y'all want to see what's happening here?
Yeah. Okay. It's a work in progress, but we'll get a tour of what you guys got. So starting from this wall, and then let's work around.
Well, first off, one thing we were discussing earlier is GSC was never a practical bike shop. There was nothing practical about it.
Yeah.
It was hard to shop there. It was hard to do anything there. It was just about a vibe. So we did want to make it this easier. We wanted it to be easier on the employees. We wanted it to be easier on us. We wanted it to be easier on the customers. It's just going to feel like it's a more shoppable bike shop. Library. This is going to be Sean and I's kind of only zone besides these 2 shrines that will always be changing. Sean is a collector, and he has some of the coolest bike stuff I've ever seen. Most of it's in King Cog, but some of it will start coming here. So there'll be stuff for sure.
You got the library. Is this gonna be like pedals and racks and stuff, or?
We don't really know yet.
Yeah, we're still sorting through.
What I've started doing is just kind of hanging stuff in places to kind of feel what feels good, what feels not good.
Kind of have to get everything out and then organize. But essentially we're gonna do like tires up top, and then parts, accessories below at eye level. This is sort of just an exploded bike view. I built this rack and just to kind of display. We'll switch this out over and over. It reminds me of like the models. You cut out the pieces.
Oh yeah, like the little plastic thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
cool.
Yeah. This will always just be kind of a window display. Eventually, we'll probably have bikes lining up here.
Right.
Once that sort of fills out, and then we get to Kyle's shrine up top. This is the old GSC table everyone will recognize.
Yeah.
And that was built by our buddy Martik Makos. And at one point, he thought he was going to come to the shop and take the thing apart because no one was taking the thing.
Right.
And ultimately, I was just like, well, listen, it shouldn't be taken apart. So we just put it in storage for a long time and then got it back out. We want to hang frames across here and across there, kind of the blue lug style where you feel like you're being, drowned in bike frames and stuff. And that is another thing we've talked about a lot. I think we've taken a little bit of time to open because we don't want people coming in here and being like, oh, this isn't GSC, oh, this isn't King Cog.
Right.
It's not nearly as cool. Obviously, this isn't GSC and this is not King Cog. It's going to be something different. But we want people to be equally as excited to come in and see this place when we're all done. One thing I've collected over the years is pretty amazing like cycling posters and stuff like that. This is a Jeff McFetridge velodrome poster from the London Olympics. Both Sean and I have an affinity towards like Coors Classic and Coors Racing Team stuff.
Yeah.
I've been collecting stuff like that, so I'm looking to be able to find places to hang that stuff. Sean, when he got out here, he bought a welder, and the first thing he did was start welding everything. So he did all of these security bars for the windows.
Okay.
There's a better view of them over here.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like a chevron from a bike or something like that. And then he made this bike rack in a day. He just made it. We need a bike rack, he just made it.
So is this going to house new bikes or bikes that you guys are working on?
This will be new bikes.
New bikes.
Yeah.
We think in the beginning we may have to use the bottom for storage for bikes we're working on.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly new bikes. Then obviously we'll have a bike on top of this at all times, kind of like we did at GSC.
Yeah.
Pinball machine came over. It's currently not working, but we're gonna get it going. I got somebody coming this week to check it out. I don't know if you all ever saw it because
This is cool.
stuff started to get stacked on it
Yeah.
as GSC space filled up.
I love that bike themed pinball machine.
And this is actually a pinball machine from Spain.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
I've never had this grid stuff in a bike shop before.
Yeah.
And Sean told me, he gave me he was just like, oh, but the coolest thing about this is if you keep it sparse, you can put stuff back here.
Ah.
So hoping to maybe put like some old jerseys back here,
Yeah.
some other posters and stuff like that.
Talking about bikes, what bike brands are you guys going to carry?
Right now, we just don't really know. Our big brand is going to be Giant.
Okay.
We're definitely bringing Giant in. We do really want to concentrate on family-oriented e-bike kind of thing. And that's just because Sean and I spend so much time on e-bikes with our kids.
So it sounds like you guys are going to incorporate more family cycling.
Oh, I mean, that's so much of our lives now. We can't, And just the other day, a guy came in to get pedals on his father's Cannondale that he's now turned into his dad bike. So just hearing those stories, just it's so good.
Right.
Highland Park is also fairly flat, a little bit. It's pretty easy to bike for a family. So, Hermosillo, this bar down the street that our friend Ross owns, if you go there on a Friday afternoon, there's like 12 cargo e-bikes there that
that's
children are all hanging out, running around.
We're gonna build out a little countertop right around here. Have more handlebars and parts and accessories in the back here. This would be the service department. So we'll have
Old GSC rug.
We'll have a few benches set up. We're just still sort of sorting through everything, but service storage along the back there.
Yeah.
We got a little office that'll eventually be more storage. We're looking to have, a full service bike shop. So walk-ins, appointments, everything, small repairs.
So you guys have owned your own bike shops previously. What What things did you learn in the previous ownership that you're taking to this shop? Like what mistakes won't you make again? What things, because it's a clean slate, what are you going to implement that you learned from previous bike shop ownership?
Work smarter, not harder. I think, having children now, we have no other choice than to work smarter, not harder kind of thing.
Yeah, I think one of the things we have to do is really prioritize time.
Yeah.
With both of us having families, it's going to be a little different staying super late. Like neither one of us can really stay super late. We got to get home to the kids, and we'll be here early and probably have to leave a little early. The hours might be kind of interesting. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Like weekday hours might be a little different. Probably have long weekends.
We were talking about having long weekends, which a lot of people do the opposite. They have shorter weekends. Yeah, we've been talking about doing long weekends and have shorter weekdays.
Yeah.
Just because both him and I have to go pick up our kids.
We're hoping to have service appointments, like drop-off appointments, that sort of thing, set up on our website real soon. So you can schedule a drop-off and everybody knows what's going on ahead of time, and have a little time expected for everybody. And I think that'll be really nice where, if someone's got a very, short amount of time that they need to be here to drop off, we can accommodate. That way it's not a surprise or anything like that.
To tie into that, GSC never had a website. In the history of GSC, there was never a website.
Yeah.
So being able to use that to kind of not have to tell people the story every time they come in, they can come in with the story already. Also, we'll probably do appointments for bike sales and custom builds and stuff like that as well. Yeah. We're trying not to waste our time anymore, and we don't want to waste our customers' time.
It's different when you have a family. You're not like the bike shop mechanic bachelor that can like stay until like 9 p.m. and get the orders done.
9. Yeah. That's leaving early.
Yeah. I've already kind of scoped out our schedule a little bit, and I think there's some room for some, midnight oil to be burned, but it'll be like kind of how restaurants close for an hour before dinner.
Right, like a reset.
Yeah. We'll be gone between 6 and 9, and I'll have to come back and do some work or something for a few hours.
So LA has like a super diverse cycling scene. Like, is there any particular niche you guys are gonna cater to, or be like a jack of all trades?
Well, when you say jack of all trades, it usually means you're not good at anything. And the one cool thing about Sean and I is we're both pretty good at all the bikes that we participate in. Yeah. So I think just getting everybody more into being better at everything is what we want to concentrate on. Like both Sean and I ride track bikes all the time still.
Right.
There's very few shop owners that in their 40s. I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
That's like, oh yeah, I still ride a track bike. He's not yet.
Not there
He's
yet.
getting there. He's getting there though. So yeah, I don't think we're a jack of all trades. We are all the trades.
We have a pretty good knowledge of everything that we're interested in. Service-wise, we'll work on anything that walks in the door.
Right.
From your most base level bike that just goes from bar to bar.
Yeah.
To your high-end mountain bike, high-end road. We can work on any of that. As far as what we'll sell, it's, in my opinion, it's mostly up to the neighborhood.
Right.
Like we'll put out what we're interested in,
right,
but we'll accommodate the neighborhood as best we can. And if we hear one or two people say, hey, I'm looking for this kind of bike, and we don't have it, my mind is, let's get that in. That's what people want. That's what people are asking for. That's what we want to provide. Bikes for the community. Whatever community comes in the door is what we want to accommodate.
I know GSC was a bit of a destination. Are you guys hoping to build a shop like that, or really blend in?
King Kong and Sun and Air is such a destination in New York too, so there's no doubt this isn't going to be a destination.
Yeah.
I mean, GSC, people got off planes and came straight to that bike shop, and it's not going to be any different here for sure. We're still going to try to do everything a little different than everyone else, just to keep everyone excited. That's the one thing is, we don't want to come to work unless we're excited. So we have to keep, we got to keep people on the internet excited. We got to keep our customers excited. We got to keep ourselves excited. Eventually, we're going to have to keep our employees excited.
Yeah.
So there's no question this is going to be a destination for people to come.
It's 2023. The industry is kind of oversupplied. Inventory is big. Some businesses aren't doing so good. Why now, and what are you guys doing to kind of insulate yourself or work smarter?
Well, one thing is, I think this 6 months that we were closed is when a lot of shit hit the fan. So I feel pretty grateful that we weren't open in those 6 months. I have a lot of people complaining about, the factory sales that are happening right now.
Right.
A bunch of money's not going back to people when wholesale costs have now dropped. That's all a nightmare, so we weren't open during that, but Sean did. He's still dealing with that at Sun and Air in King Cog. But yeah, what are we going to do differently? The same
I think
thing.
keeping the shop small.
Yeah.
The shop being small will sort of force our hand to be a little more picky about what we bring in, what we spend our money on, because we just don't have the storage space. We can't stuff it full of, $100,000 worth of inventory right away, because we just don't have anywhere to put it. I know everybody did in the pandemic was just buy. They bought everything they could, and now, everyone's kind of bloated with inventory. And I think having the small space and one of the things, the main points that we talked about having the small space is it will keep us sort of lean by nature. And I think that's going to help a lot. King Cog and Sun and Air is really similar. They don't have a whole lot of storage capacity or anything like that. So we've had to keep that store pretty lean. King Cog, on the other hand, we ordered like crazy, and we had so much inventory at some point. It was really scary. We were like, how are we going to get rid of all this stuff? And all the factory sales and all that stuff happening, all the discounts and everything everyone's running. You just got to stay with that same lane. You can't, fight it too much, because we can't change what they're going to do.
No, but definitely not. And whenever you tell them that you want help or you want change, they're not going to do it for you anyway. So
yeah. Do you think you'll offset by prioritizing service or
Service is always a priority for me. That's what I've always prioritized over everything. I think it's best for the bike shop. I think it's best for the customer. I think it's best for the employees, best for the environment. The more you can service and repair bikes, keep them on the road, keep them running, the better it is for everybody.
That is the thing. If bikes run well and people ride bikes, people are happy. They'll spend more money on bikes. So, service is always going to be one of the most important things. But one thing at GSC was, me running a service department, wasn't that great. Sean running a service department is great. And that was one of the things that we decided to do this together, because I do things really well and he does things really well. And luckily the things we do really well are exact opposites of each other. So that was one thing we were super excited to be able to bring to each other, Yeah,
it's good to find a complementary partner to kind of offset your weaknesses or amplify your strengths.
There's no question about it. So.
Yeah, I'm terrible at Instagram.
But he's also not. He's also not.
Yeah.
Sometimes, when I can't make it to something because I have my daughter, he's out there, I'm like, just send me all the videos and photos and I'll sift through it and it'll be great. Yeah. And it always is. It's always great.
Well, thanks so much, Sean and Kyle.
Of course.
I'm sure LA is super excited to have another cool bike shop, especially with your guys' industry knowledge and background.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah.
I know we talked on the podcast, or what was it?
Yeah, this
YouTube?
is a podcast.
Yeah, so we talked shortly after GSC had closed, so it's really cool for y'all to come here and get to see this right now.
Yeah, super excited. Had to get the sneak peek.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely visit the shop. When do you guys have an opening date?
Shoot for July 1st.
July 1st.
This Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can get this video edited by then.
Yeah. No, we are definitely shooting for July. We're shooting for this Saturday. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
But it's going to happen. We're going to do it.
All right.
So.
Cool. If you guys like this video, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Consider supporting the channel by joining us on Patreon. And as always, keep the supple side down.